Hello, hello, hello. What is going on, everybody? Welcome, welcome. I'm just going to wait a couple minutes here. I got some mellow tunes playing right now. Just waiting to see if a couple more people jump in. Probably give it to about 7:05. Um, People who are here right now, can you do me a big favor? I need to know if you can hear me and you can see me. So if you can see me, uh, put a one in the chat. Put a one if you can see that, or you can hear me. I guess see and hear me. Put a one in the chat for me so that I know that I'm actually talking to somebody. Awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Okay. So we got that out of the way. Like I said, we'll just wait a little bit longer, see if some more people join. Hello, hello. What's going on, everyone? Okay. So we'll probably start in like 3 minutes just to give a few more people the chance to jump in and join us. Hope you guys don't mind the tunes. It's just a nice way to get us going for the call. So, how many of you guys that have joined today are watching the Olympic opening ceremonies right now? I picked the worst time, I think. Probably the absolute worst time. Olympics only happen every 4 years, and I think I started my challenge on the same day as the Olympics. No, Joseph, you're not watching? Okay. Well, making steak in the barbecue. Love it. Awesome. Yeah, I guess depending on where you are in the world, I mean, it plays it live and then they have the replay as well, right? So, well, I'm happy for the people who are here. Like I said, I can see more people are jumping in. So, we'll wait a little bit longer and we'll give more people a chance to jump in. Before we get started, I don't want anyone to miss anything, and there's going to be replays of this. So if at any time you have to like run, I won't take it personal. There'll be replays for this, okay? And so you'll be able to access this later. But obviously, staying here, you get to ask questions and everything like that, okay? So stick around for that. There must be some Bob Marley fans in the chat right now. Put a one if you like Bob Marley. Can you guys hear? Can you hear the music? It's hard not to like Bob Marley though. One love, yeah. I hadn't listened to this album in a long time, and for some reason today I was inspired to put it on. So it must mean something. All right, I'm gonna turn the music off, and then we're gonna get started. Okay. I think it's almost at 7:05, so we'll wait a couple more seconds here, and then when that clock hits 05 or 7:05 for me, but I know people are participating in all different time zones, so okay. Let's get started. Welcome everyone to the Back Pain Solution Challenge. I really appreciate you for signing up, for being here. It's just super exciting to see everyone here. Really, the goal of this is to find a lasting solution for your back pain, right? And something that you can take with you moving forward. So before we get started, I really want to make sure that I cover an important point. The information that we're going over today in this challenge is for educational and informational purposes only, and it's not intended as medical advice, okay? So always consult with your medical professional, your healthcare provider, before starting any new exercise program or making any changes to your current healthcare regimen. This is super important because, back pain can have a bunch of different causes, and what works for one person may not work for another. So if at any point during this challenge you're experiencing any severe pain, discomfort, or any adverse symptoms, please stop immediately and consult a medical professional. All right. Your health and safety is my top priority, and I want to ensure that you have a safe and effective experience during this challenge. The goal is to minimize pain, not increase any, okay? So this challenge is designed to be interactive and empowering. It's super important, right? Your active participation is key in this. So I want you to ask questions. I want you to share your experience. I want you to support each other in the chat. And most importantly, I want you to try to implement the things that you learned today and in this challenge in your life, okay? This is your time to invest in your well-being and unlock the freedom of movement that you deserve. So what you'll need today is, I'm sitting on a chair. You need a chair, okay? And you'll need like a yoga mat or just something like a soft ground, okay? So if you have like a carpet or a rug or something, that's fine as well, all right? I'll let you grab that and I'll just wait a couple minutes here just so you don't miss anything. You know, that music was kind of nice. I mean, I think it'd be nice if I could just have some mellow reggae playing in the background the whole time. I might think of that. Okay, so let's jump into it. So as I mentioned, you know, the back pain solution challenge as a whole is going to be your dedicated space to start understanding your back pain and really reclaim the mobility and reclaim your life from the back pain, right? Now, we got to be honest. Obviously, I don't expect you to get rid of this pain in 4 days, right? You probably didn't get the pain in 4 days, and you've probably been dealing with it for weeks, months, years, or even more, right? So you may have felt like in all this time, you tried everything, right, to solve this. You've probably been to doctors, chiropractors, physical therapists. You tried countless exercises. You spent a fortune on treatments and gadgets. You even did something like I did and bought an inversion table, right? And maybe it helped for a little bit, but nothing like seems to stick. It's always just like temporary, right? It's like you're putting a Band-Aid on. And you're really just tired of feeling limited by pain. And you want to really get back to doing the things you love. All right. That was me just a few years ago, right? As a former college basketball player and coach, I really used to push my body. But when I got sciatica, it just completely took over my life. The pain was so bad, like my right leg was paralyzed. And going to the gym, spending time with family and loved ones, friends, even just walking, sitting down was just impossible, right? I was sleeping on the ground for about 6 months, even staying at nice hotels, and I had to like make a bed on the ground. I was medicating all the time, and I felt completely stuck. And so, like you, I thought exercise was the answer, right? But the truth is, I was focusing on a lot of the wrong movements, and I was making the pain worse. And it wasn't until I realized that I needed to work with my body, not against it, that I really started to heal. And so through my journey, I discovered the power of a holistic approach to back pain. It's not just about addressing the symptoms. Your back hurts, great, but why? It's really about understanding that root cause and looking at about how your lifestyle choices impact your pain. And it's about learning really about the way you move, right? And seeing how that supports or hurts your body's natural design. And really about building a sustainable habit for a pain-free life. Okay. So over the next 4 days, what we're going to cover in this challenge is, you know, today is day one, right? So today we're going to talk about understanding your back pain and corrective movements. So we'll uncover mistakes that are super common that might be making your back pain worse, or, you know, just like aggravating the situation, right? And we're going to start building a foundation of healing from that point. Okay. In day two, we're going to talk about safe and effective movement progression. So we're going to explore how to gradually increase your strength and mobility without aggravating your pain. So we're going to use a technique that I call microdosing. Day three, I should say, we're going to be talking about aligning movement with natural body design. So we're going to learn about how to move in ways that support your body's natural structure and promote healing and prevent future pain. And then the last day, we're going to bring it all together and we're going to talk about long-term tips, tricks, strategies, protocols for a pain-free life. All right. So practical strategies that you can use every day to really keep your back healthy and pain-free for good. All right. Okay. So day one. Now, before we get into it, you're going to want to stay until the end because I'm going to be giving away my lifestyle protocol. And the point of this is to assist you so that you can help to fight back against back pain, right? We're going to work through this challenge here, and then I'm going to give you something that you can actually do that's going to help you. All right. So day one is understanding your back pain and corrective movements. Now, the mistake that we're going to cover here is ignoring the importance of understanding your back pain and focusing on the wrong movements. And the point of everything we do today is we're going to learn how to understand the root cause of your pain, and we're going to understand why that's super crucial before treating it, and why doing the wrong exercise can make you actually have worse pain. Okay, and this is so important. Okay, so I want to start actually with a YouTube video that's gone completely viral. You've maybe even seen it pop up on your YouTube screen because it's everyone is getting this one. In 2 weeks, it got 10 million views. And the name of the video, if you want to go watch it, is I was an MIT educated neurosurgeon. Now I'm unemployed and alone in the mountains. How did I get here? So in the video, this doctor talks about how he stepped away from his job doing back surgeries for over 10 years because he felt that they weren't solving the actual problem. Right? He compared what he was doing to, or I guess back pain, to a leaky roof. So he said that even though the surgeries were successful surgeries, they solved the problem structurally. He noticed that there was a recurring pattern, that a lot of the back pain returned for people, right? They'd get the surgery and then it would return. He realized that sometimes surgery was needed in an extreme situation to relieve some suffering. However, for the long term, it failed to address the root cause of the back pain. And so, like a leaky roof, if you have a leaky roof, it's going to damage the ceiling and everything underneath it. Now, you can fix all of that and it'll look nice. But if the leak happens over a period of time, it's going to damage everything again, right? So he was really driven by a desire to help people and stop suffering. And he began to ask his patients a broader set of questions, going beyond the immediate medical history to really understand their lives from a holistic perspective. And so he found that there were these pillars of healing. Okay. And so I'm just going to tell you what he said, right? So he said diet was super important. So diets that were not processed, they were well-rounded, they had some plant-based elements, they were just whole food diets. Those were super good, and they were more effective at getting healing outcomes. Exercise, so regular exercise activity, particularly sweating, right? And then doing things that were enjoyable. Those were also linked to better recovery. No, surprise here, sleep. So patients who prioritize getting 8 hours of sleep each night, they obviously demonstrate better healing. No brainer there, right? Stress management. This is a key one here. So patients who were effectively managing stress through practices like mindfulness meditation, they experience better healing. And then social connection. This was big, right? Strong social connection and supportive networks were associated with positive healing outcomes. So why did I share that story? Well, this is coming from someone who did a bunch of surgeries, right? He worked in the field for years, and he realized that there was more than just taking meds or getting surgery to fix a problem. Right. So the focus of this challenge is going to be on those 5 pillars of healing. Right. And I already decided I was doing a challenge when this video popped into my feed, and a bunch of people started sending it to me. It went completely viral. Right. So during the challenge, you're going to have the opportunity to examine these pillars in the context of your life, and you're going to learn how to incorporate them into your back pain journey. Okay. All right. So just a few little facts here. Back pain, it's very common, right? It's about 80% of adults are going to experience it at some point in their life. But that doesn't mean it should be considered as normal, right? Just because people experience it doesn't mean that it's normal. It is a multifaceted thing, right? It's not a simple condition. It's not one size fits all. People get back pain for all different reasons. Muscle strains, disc bulges, poor posture, other medical conditions, stress, and other factors can really contribute to it, right? But like I said, there is many causes. And what we're going to do now is kind of dig into what some of those causes are. But before we go into that, I want you to understand probably the most important concept when solving your back pain. And I'm going to use the analogy of a scab, okay, and picking the scab. So imagine you have a scab on your body and you're picking it, you're picking it, you're picking it, you're picking it. We all did that, especially as kids. Kids pick scabs all the time, right? We do that, and what happens? Obviously, it takes way longer for the thing to heal, and then there's a scar. So in that same way, certain movements, certain activities, they can aggravate back pain rather than alleviate it. It's just like picking a scab, right? You're not allowing the healing to take place, right? And so these activities and movements, they could even exacerbate the pain. So you pick a scab and it bleeds, right? Stops recovery. It slows down recovery, right? So what are some of the ways that you can actually pick a scab with concern to back pain? So for simplicity, I'm going to break them up into two categories, and I'm just going to make them very simple here. I'm going to call one the body, and I'm going to call the other one the mind. All right. So first, the body. Okay. So prolonged sitting. This is obvious, right? As I sit in this chair, we're probably all sitting right now. Modern lifestyle is all about sitting for extended periods, right? We're sitting in the car, we're sitting on transit, we're sitting at the office, we're sitting at our house, constantly sitting down, right? And this can contribute to weak core muscles, weak glute muscles, muscle imbalances, right? Because your body's going to adapt to the position that it's in more often, right? That's how the body works. Sedentary behavior is connected to that, right? So if you're sitting all the time and then you're also not doing any exercises, any physical activity, your muscles get even weaker, and then you get stuck in that position. Your spine gets weak, right? You're more susceptible to injury. And this is super common in what I call weekend warriors. So people who like do, vigorous activities on the weekend, but like throughout the week, they just kind of like chill out. They don't do anything, right? They're just hanging out. And then what happens? Boom. Oh, I got to go do this hike, or I'm playing a sport. Well, obviously your body's mostly used to sitting. So it's really good at that, right? But it's not good at doing those activities. And then boom, you have your back injury moment right there, right? So incorrect exercises. So exercises where people are like, they don't have the proper technique and they're just going to deadlift, pick something super heavy off the ground. They're doing things like back squats and things of that nature without understanding the proper form or doing something that's too heavy for them. That goes right in line with poor lifting technique. So same idea. If you're lifting something up over and over and over again because you have poor technique or doing something that's too heavy with poor technique, boom, right? You're going to have that back injury moment as well. And then just lastly, just carrying excess weight, right? That's a common one. There's a reason why you hear like pregnant women will have back pain. Well, they have a big weight that's literally hanging out in front of them. Well, that's going to put your body in an awkward position, right? It's going to make so everything's out of alignment. And that's something we're going to talk about later on as we move forward, okay? All right, so now we're going to actually talk about identifying your pain triggers, okay? So I want to give you perspective on your pain triggers so that you can start to avoid them. You can stop picking the scab, okay? So I'm going to guide you through a movement assessment so that you can start to gain the knowledge you need to tackle this, all right? So we're going to do a few tests. All right. The first test we're going to do, you're actually going to be standing up. All right. So I'm going to show you what it's going to look like. All right. Okay. So the first test we're doing is an extension test. Okay. So flexion is this, extension is this when we're talking about the back specifically. Okay. So you're going to do an extension test. So what you're going to do is stand flat on the ground. All right. You're going to put your hands over your head like this. And you're going to lean back as far as you can, like this, okay? So I want you to do that. I want you to do that 3 times. I want you to pay attention, okay? So while you're doing that test, I want you to pay attention if there's any sharp shooting pain, okay? Don't push through it. If you're feeling a sharp shooting pain right away, just stop, right? This isn't about pushing through or doing the movement perfect. The moment you get that sensation, you say, okay, yeah, there's pain there. Now you might just feel a little bit of tightness because you're not used to going into extension, and that's okay. But any pain, shooting pain down the leg, anything like that is not going to be good. Holding breath when going back. I would just say try to breathe naturally. You're probably going to naturally hold your breath. I would say don't do it with a big lungs full of air. So don't fill your lungs up, hold your breath, and then do it. So if you were going to do anything, I would say breathe out when you're extending back to give your body that kind of release, okay? So I'll give you guys a second to do that. And then once you've done that, I want you to put a 1 in the chat if you've given it a try. And I want you to put a 1 in the chat if you felt like just a bit of tightness, right? Yeah, pain going down the leg. Yeah, that's super common. Okay, so pain going down the leg is a sign right now that you're extension intolerant. Okay, pain level 1. So if you're going like this and you get pain shooting down the leg or pain radiating in the back, okay, that means you're extension intolerant. You do not want to go into extension. That's going to be something you're going to want to avoid, okay? So why is that important? Well, even if I'm sitting here on a chair and I'm going to get out of my chair, I'm going to give you guys an example here. tight to pain. Okay, that's not too bad, right? There's a little bit of tightness. It's okay. So this is going to be an example. If you're in a lot of pain, right? The first thing you're doing here, if you're in a ton of pain right now, your job is to keep your pain tolerance down. You don't want to be in a ton of pain, right? Now, if you're further down the road where that was just tightness, this is a little bit of different advice. But the point I'm making here is you don't want to pick the scab, right? So if I'm going to get up out of this chair, right? Tight, no pain. Okay, good job. Okay, so if I'm going to get out of this chair, okay, what you'll see some people do is they'll lean forward and then they'll like, you see my back is arched. So right now I'm in extension. And if I get up like this, that's going to be a lot of tension on my back, right? And so what that means is you're going to want to maybe avoid doing this before you get up, okay? If you have extension issues like this extension, and you have pain, it probably means that you're probably stuck like this more often. And your body's just had enough of it, okay? And so you're really going to want to get good at slight bending forward. And when you get out of chairs and stuff, you're going to want to really activate your glutes, okay? And use your quads and push up if you can, okay? And avoid doing this, okay? It's going to be a lot of tension. So you're going to want to be like that and then try to push up and get out of neutral. Now, again, that might be hard depending on your situation, but the point is extension is bad. That might also mean that when you're sitting in a seat, right, you're not going to want to sit up like this, or you're not going to want to have a lumbar support because the lumbar support might push your back up. So it's not always good to have lumbar support if you have extension issues. This is just going to cause more pain. Okay, now you don't want to necessarily be like that, but you can be in a more natural position. Okay, so that's the first test, extension test. Okay, all right. The next one we're going to do, actually, we'll need our chair for this one. We're going to stay right on the chair. So now we're going to test flexion and compression. Okay, so for a lot of people, I remember this was me. I used to sit like this. I had the injury here, and I would sit like this, and I'd go up because I couldn't put any weight here, right? Because when you put the weight there, the back compresses, right? So put a 1 in the chat if when you sit down on the side you're sore at, you get pain straight away. So put a 1 in the chat if that's you. Yeah, Alexis, yeah. 1. Yeah. Poke Master. I see. Poke Master, probably Pokeball, right? Okay, so the reason why this is also important is because, right, when we're sitting, right, obviously we're in this position here, all the weight is on those, those bony, if you have a bony butt like me, all the weight's just right there, okay? And your back has to support that, right? But your entire core needs to support that. We're gonna get into that later, but it can be a difficult position. So like, I used to do like stuff like this. I'd like sit like this as well, because I was flexion intolerant. So the test we're doing now is flexion test, okay? So first thing I want you to do is grab the side of the chair. You're gonna try to sit up straight, and you're gonna just pull yourself down using your hands into the chair, okay? And I want you to tell me if your pain increases from that. So pull into the chair, just be straight up and pull into the chair, okay? So that's the first test. So give that a try. Okay, so if that obviously causes pain, right, we know there's compression taking place there. If you're getting shooting pain or localized pain in the back. Now you take it a step further, okay? If you didn't have any pain like that, now we want to actually do this and round our back. So what you're going to do is you're going to slouch naturally like this. No pain, but tightness down the foot. Yeah, so if you're getting, okay, so one thing I want to make certain here. So anyone who's dealing with disc issues or sciatica, if any of this stuff causes a tingling in your foot, a tightness or a sensation, it might as well be pain, okay? It's pushing on the nerve, and we do not want that to take place, okay? So next one is you're gonna slunch like this, and then you're gonna grab the chair and you're gonna pull yourself down, okay? So now I'm in flexion. So this is extension, this is flexion. So I'm in flexion, I'm gonna pull myself down into the chair, okay? Like this. So I want you to see if this causes pain. Now, for those of you who are flexion intolerant, which most people are, because we're just like doing this all the time, okay, that's what I was as well, okay? this is going to be a bad position for you. You probably feel pain right away. Just doing this, you're like, okay, that's enough, right? Now, the next thing you would do is you would tuck your chin, your slouch like this, and this is really going to pull on the nerves, and then you do this, okay, if there's still no pain, all right? So you're only doing this test if there's no pain in the first test, okay? All those cause pain, yeah. So depending on where you are in your pain sensitivity, all of these tests could cause pain, right? And so what you're trying to do is determine what level you're at, okay? So we're going to talk about what the strategies are going to be with all this stuff. Okay, so we have the standing extension test, okay? We have the seated compression test, compression and slouching and flexion and rounding our neck and pulling down, okay? Now, if you didn't have pain with this and you have pain with this, okay, you are flexion intolerant. That means you don't want to go into that position. Okay, you don't want to pick the scab. If you had pain like this, but then this didn't really do anything, and some people this feels good, but then you're extension intolerant. Okay, so you want to avoid those. If you had pain in both, it means that you're very limited and you're going to want to really focus on a neutral position. Okay, all right. Next test. Okay, the next test is going to be, this one's going to be called the heel drop test. Okay, now these don't cause discomfort, but the extension one did make things tight and act up. Yeah. So for you, Joseph, the extension is going to be your intolerant position. Okay. This is super important. The pain is our metric. Pain is, in this case, how we measure it. Now, we don't want to do that for the rest of our lives with this because we want to get over chronic pain. But when we're in a lot of pain, we have to respect that first and foremost. And then from there, we can strategize and move forward. Okay. So, all right, I'm going to try and go back as far as I can here. So this one here is going to be the heel drop test. I'm sorry, I'm very tall, so I'm like almost out of the camera. So what you're going to do here is, I guess you don't really need this. No, it's fine. So you're going to go up on your toes like this, and then you're going to drop. Not slowly, just drop. You can see how there's like some bouncing going on. So you're going to go, okay? So do that 3 times. Your heels should hit the ground. Obviously, again, right away, you'll know if there's pain. If there's pain, you don't need to keep going. If you do 1 and there's pain, great. You know that's the case, all right? So after that, after you do the heel drop test, now you're going to do the heel drop test by putting your head into extension, okay? Your cervical spine. And we're going to put that into flexion as well, and we're going to do it, okay? So same idea here, okay? So can't really see my head, I apologize, but 1, put your head down, bounce, 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 and then try 1 with your head back, bounce, bounce, and bounce, okay? Now, you probably will see a difference between the two. Okay, so you might see a difference between having your head back, right, and having your head down. And it very well can be very much related to the first 2 tests. Okay, so again, if when you hit the ground with your heels, you feel like pain, right? It just means that you can't handle those shear forces of you like hitting the ground, right? You're just not able to do that. Okay, now the last thing we'll do is if you had pain. Okay, if you had pain on any of those, now we're going to focus on a bracing. Okay, so this is a little bit of a skill here. Okay, so I'm going to teach this. So bracing. Okay, I know we're not going to be perfect the first time we do this, but what I want you to do, okay, is first thing is you're going to grab your hands and you're going to put them in your waist like this. Okay, and you try to squeeze as best you can. Now, I have big hands, so again, it doesn't matter how much it covers. This is just a check on the side here, because we all know how to like maybe squeeze here or activate our core. There's all these different muscles. We're going to do a whole brace. So we want you to put your hands on the side like this, okay? Now from here, what you're going to do is you're going to take a big breath into your nose, fill up your lungs, okay? And then what you're going to do is you're going to blow up through your mouth like a straw. You're going to blow all the air out. You're going to see that everything is going to start to tighten, okay? And then once you've done that, everything's tight, you're going to try to hold that, okay, as best you can, and then you're going to fill up your lungs again. What you're going to see is it is going to compress, but the whole thing should be hard, okay? So that's a brace, okay? And you should feel some tension out into the sides as well, okay? So I'm putting your hands there to kind of help see what it might feel like, okay? This is a little bit of a skill to develop. So if you can't do it right away, that's okay. You're gonna do your best, okay? So I want you to feel what that brace is like, where you feel some force pushing out into your hands in all directions. And now I want you to try to do the heel drop. So if you had pain on the heel drop, now I want you to do it with a brace, okay? So what it would look like is you're like this, okay? You've created that brace. And now you're gonna keep your hands here, up. Trying to keep the brace the whole time, okay? So give that one a try. Elizabeth, you feel the pain in your back of your head. You felt it in the pelvic area. When I feel the pain in my back of my head, up, I felt it in the pelvic area. So when your head was down, you felt it in your pelvic area, or you felt it here and then in your pelvic area as well? I think that's what you mean. So I'll give you guys a chance to try that bracing, okay? Yeah, okay. So when you brace, if it sends tingling down your leg, okay, that means you have a lot of inflammation and tension in there, right? So when you're bracing, you're activating these deep core muscles, and your nerves are running through there, right? And so what that means for you, CB, is I want you to really be careful and don't brace as hard. Okay, so you can do a lighter brace, right? Try that lighter brace and see if that makes a difference. Okay, so give that a try. And if you can't brace right now, it just means that you're just probably very, very sensitive. Okay, so you're going to want to avoid really triggering that pain. Okay. You have pain in your hip and leg when you're standing up, you're in pain. Yeah. So if you're standing up in pain, it likely means that, again, your bracing system is in pain. So delete try bracing when you're standing, okay, and seeing if that helps a little bit. All right. When your head is up, Elizabeth, you feel that. Okay, so that's important for you to remember, that you don't want to be in extension too much. Okay. All right. So the next test we're going to do is actually two things. Okay. So we talked about extension. Okay. We talked about flexion. And so now what we're going to talk about is actually finding a neutral position. And what does that even feel like? Okay. So obviously if we're extension intolerant and we're flexion intolerant, well, there has to be a neutral position that we can access that's going to give us some relief, right? That's the goal with all this. We want to have relief. So first we're going to do this in a quadruped position. So when we're doing this, what it looks like is we're going to be on our hands and knees, okay? And when we're on our hands and knees, gravity is pushing down like this, right? Straight down. So it's equal across our body. But when we're standing or sitting or whatever, it's like this. And our spine has to take that load on our body, right? And so this takes the pressure off, okay? And so what we're going to do now is we're going to explore a few different positions, okay? So right now, I'm in pretty much my neutral position. Now, this took me a long time to find, right? I used to like do this a lot. It was a lot like this, maybe, like this. So you can move at two parts of your body. Or you have three, but we'll focus on two. Okay, your core here, you have your upper thoracic spine and your lower lumbar, okay? So to move my lower lumbar, I'm really just moving down here, okay? Now, if I want to move my upper thoracic area, I can do this. Now, many of you are not going to be able to distinguish the two. You're just going to move them all together. And that's okay for now, okay? But you want to be able to, as you move through your process here, is you want to be able to find a way to identify and move different parts of your body separate from one another, okay? And that's part of developing that full body ability. But point is we want to find a neutral spine. So the first thing you're going to do, similar to the extension and flexion test, is you're going to go into extension. Okay, so you're going to go like this. Okay, try to just move your pelvis. Okay, try to just move your pelvis. And you're going to try to arch like that. Okay, and then you're going to go like this. And the reason why you're doing that is, imagine there's like a level there and you're trying to find what is neutral to you, okay? Right? And neutral to you is the position that doesn't have pain. Okay, so looking for the pain-free position, right? So if we're thinking about this, right? I just want you to explore. Okay, is this neutral? Is there pain here? Is there pain here? Okay, so just do some exploring just by moving this and try to find the position. You're like, okay, I feel pretty good here. That's my good position, okay? That's your neutral position. David, no pain with any. That's good. It's really, really good. Again, if none of this is causing pain, we'll talk about that after when we kind of do a wrap up of this. So give that a try, because what we're going to do next is we're going to take that same thing and we're actually going to stand, and I'm going to show you the difference, right? So as I mentioned before, when we're like this, gravity is pushing down and it's our job to keep our body up, and that's the core and everything like that, right? That's where the spine takes on that force. And so in some cases where you're just standing, you're like, this is painful, right? Because you might have a bulge or a disc bulge, something's out of alignment, and just standing like this is causing issues, right? Okay. All right. Great. That's super good. This is a good thing, because if you don't have pain when you're doing that, you've now found a pain-free ability. All right. This is important. You can move your spine without pain, and you also know that it's the compression that's causing it. Right? It's the compression and the position of your body when it's under load that's causing you to be in those positions. So what it means is if you can reduce the pain triggers, and you can build strength, and you can build your bracing system, and you can build all that to help your spine, then you're not going to have pain over the long term, right? This is the key thing here, okay? So hope you guys have all done that one. Next one we're going to do is we're going to do it standing, okay? Same idea. Okay, so you're going to need a wall. I apologize, I didn't say you needed a wall, but you need a wall. Okay, and so what you're going to do is on the wall here is you're going to put your hands like this, okay? And you're going to be slightly backed off against the wall. Let me maybe go over here. Let me see. It's a little bit better, yeah. So you're going to be a little bit away from the wall. So you're not going to be right up like this. Okay, you're going to be kind of leaning into the wall like this, okay? Well, now we're here. Okay? So you can see I'm kind of leaning into the wall, and what that's going to do is going to activate your core. It's like doing a plank, okay, on the wall almost, but you're not like super far up, okay? Just a little bit. So I'm here, I'm standing straight, just like that, okay? Now from that position, you're going to do the exact same thing. You're going to move your pelvis, and you're going to try to find a neutral position, and you're going to find the position that causes pain, and you're going to find the position that brings you relief, okay? So, boom, here you are. All demo. Okay, so I can tuck my pelvis, I can stick my butt out. Okay, so what position is the pain-free one? Now, the key thing that's super important here is, because you're on the wall, you're going to feel your core slightly activated, and that's what you need, right? That activation to actually find this proper position. And over time, you'll learn how to do that without the wall. The wall helps. Okay, so you're here, and you want to find the position that's pain-free, okay? So you're gonna keep playing with it, move it around, and find something that is comfortable, okay? Something that doesn't have pain, right? Okay, so we have 2 more tests that I wanna do. Okay, so there's gonna be 2 more tests, then I'm gonna kind of bring it all together for you here. Exactly how you can actually use this information to help solve the pain for the long term, right? Get you out of those painful flare-ups that you get all the time. And we want to remove that. Okay, so put a 1 in the chat if you finished this test. You did it already. Drop a 1 in the chat for me. Thank you, Cherry. Awesome. Okay, so the next test we're going to do, okay, so you have that. Now you kind of know. You're like, okay, this is comfortable or this isn't comfortable. So you're getting a sense of kind of like positions of your body, which is so important. Okay, the two other ones we're going to do here. Okay, next one, they're both going to be on the ground. Pain is consistent because I'm always sitting. Yeah, that's a whole other thing. If you're always sitting, you're in trouble. Right? That's tough. But there's things you can do, and we'll talk about that. Okay. Do ice baths make it worse? Make it better? Ice baths can provide temporary relief, and they can be part of a long-term approach. You have to be careful with ice baths because they can actually make you more sensitive to pain. In some cases, it's very different for everyone. Some people, ice baths make them feel great. Some people, it makes the pain worse. Some people, sauna makes them feel great. Some people, that doesn't work. Okay, so you really got to find what works for you. Ice baths can really be a powerful tool, though. So you'll have to give it a try and see if it works for yourself. Okay. Okay. Next one we're going to do is a leg lift. This one's super simple. Probably the simplest one. You've probably all done this before. If you've ever been to the doctor, they just do this for you. All you're doing right now is lifting your leg up and seeing not how high you can lift it, but is there pain when you lift it? Okay, it's not about, oh, can I lift it this high? You might just have tight hamstrings. You can only go this high. Okay, but is there pain when you lift it? Does this pain cause, lifting this cause pain here? Okay, and I'll explain why that's the case. Right, so just give that a test. Test both legs. Okay, test your right and your left. Moving in the pelvic area. My right side has sharp pain when moving. Yeah, so if that's the case, depending on the movement that you're doing, Elizabeth, you're going to want to really be careful, right? So if you're arching and you feel pain, then you're going to want to avoid that, right? While you're moving your pelvis, you're going to want to pay attention to the areas that have pain and then just avoid those areas so that you don't instigate more pain. Okay, and again, this is short-term solution just for right now, but obviously part of a long-term approach. Okay, so you're going to lift those legs. Left side pain, right side pain. Left side pain, right side pain. So, Cherry, the pain is shooting down your legs. Left side can only go 1/4 the way up. So there's going to be tightness in one case, and then there's shooting pain. Okay, now both of those can be an indication of nerve tightness. Now, in some cases, it may just be that the muscle is guarding the position because you had so much pain and your body's saying, don't go there. It's really going to hurt. Don't do it, right? Your body is saying, stop, don't do it, okay? In some cases, it's extreme nerve pain, right? Because that nerve runs all the way down your leg, right? It's very important. And so we don't want to stretch that nerve out. So if you're doing any stretching right now and you have that sensation, stop, okay? Nerve gliding can be okay, but pure stretching is not going to be good. It might feel good in the short term, like, oh, right now it feels good. It's just making the nerve more irritated. So you please stop doing that. That's super important. You can do nerve gliding, and I can send you some stuff about that, okay? Right leg, more pain. When lifting left side, slight discomfort, lower back. Yep, if you get pain in your lower back. So if you were doing the leg lift and you are in extension intolerance, so we did the lean back test, if that hurt it and you have leg problems, that's a clear sign of a connection between the two, okay? Shooting pain include tingling leg. Yeah, that's pretty common. Dave, no pain at all. That's great. Yes. Lift tight. Yeah. Okay. So just pay attention. Shooting pain, really bad. Tightness. It doesn't mean, even the tightness, it does not mean just stretch. That is going to be a recipe for disaster. Okay. You might be surprised that I don't really believe in static stretching when you're dealing with this pain to start with. Okay. Down the line, you can start to do a little bit of that, but it's not the first thing you should go to. Okay. Really, you should gotta be very cautious. Okay. So the last one we're going to do is a stability push-up. Now I'm going to tell you this right now. If you cannot do a push-up normally, do not try this. Okay. So if you cannot do a normal push-up like this, do not try this. What you're going to do is you're going to go on your knees and you're going to try it. Okay. All right. So if you can't do a normal push-up, go on your knees to do this next test. Okay. So what we're testing here is your ability of the whole front side of your body to be connected from top to bottom and your core to be able to take the brace of that, okay? Transfer the force, okay? So what it's gonna look like is you're gonna be laying down like this, and you're gonna have your hands up here, all the way up by your head, okay? You're not down here, like this, okay? And what you're gonna do, put your toes on the ground, and you're gonna push up, okay? Now, this, right now, is your hands all the way up here, is a true test of the ability of my ability to transfer the force, okay? Now, if you can't do that right away, or if you have pain when you do that, you go to push and there's like instant pain, it means that you have bad structural balance. Your core, that bracing system, there's something that's not right, okay? It might be in your hips. There's a lot of things like it could be. The point is you're lacking a lot of ability there, okay? And that's a core strengthening thing on the front of your body and how it relates to the back of your body, okay? Now, if you can't do that, what I want you to test is just put your hands down here and just do a normal push-up, okay? Again, same thing from your knees, same thing, okay? Same thing, okay? So that's the last test, so give that a try. Never pain, tight, and discomfort, left side. If I do a push-up, I cannot get up when I'm finished. Okay, if that's the case, don't do a push-up, right? Again, anything that you do here, I don't want you to do if any of this stuff causes pain. If you know that you can't do a push-up, do not do one, right? Do not do anything that causes any sort of pain. Light pain, lower back when lifting up, okay? Exactly, right? So if you had any pain when you're doing this one, obviously, okay, the push could be hard, but when you push, your hands are on the ground here, you need this area to stabilize because I'm moving here, right? So if I'm pushing something has to hold me in place. If I push something and it's heavier than me, I'm gonna go flying, right? But if it's not, I hold it in place. So in this case, I'm pushing up. Well, my core needs to be able to hold me in place. And that includes my back. And so if when you did that push and you squeezed and it caused pain here, right? It's a clear sign of an imbalance issue, structural imbalance issue with your body, okay? All right. So those are the 4, 5, 6 tests. We do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those tests should give you a good idea exactly the way you're experiencing pain, and then how you can actually use that to avoid picking the scab when you're getting up, sitting down, etc., and avoid painful positions. Okay. I like to use the analogy of an energy bar. Some of you might feel, yes, sneezing. Sneezing can hurt. That's not off topic. That's very on topic. The sneeze, that feeling of like jolting, absolutely. I remember those days. It's on topic. But anyways, sorry. What I was going to say is energy bar. Okay, analogy of an energy bar. Imagine like anyone who played video games knows about this energy bar, right? If I'm at full health, I'm here, and each time I get hit in the face, like the energy bar lowers, right? Well, each time you pick the scab. Okay, each time you pick the scab, the energy bar gets lower and lower and lower and lower, okay? And so what happens is you're already at the bottom. Like if you're in a lot of pain, you're already down here. And each time it's just hitting. And each time it hits, pain. But I bet you, some of you, you've probably maybe you felt good for a week, or one day you woke up, hey, I feel a little bit better. What's going on here? And so what happens is you move, you're like, oh, I'm going to go out with my friends and eat, or I'm going to do the thing that I couldn't do before. Your energy bar got about that big. And then what you did, you went and did that thing, boom, it bottomed out. So you might have 1 or 2 good days, boom. And so what you're trying to do by avoiding picking the scab is giving your body time to rest, to grow the energy bar. And when you combine that with positive movements and other lifestyle changes, you can grow it quite large. And you start adjusting your body and you grow it even bigger. And then over time, you have a bracing, proper body mechanics are strong enough. And then you can go back to doing things that would have been picking the scab, but you now have enough energy to be able to do that for a long period of time, like going on a road trip or something, right? If anyone sits long enough who has never had back pain, eventually their back's going to get tight, right? But their energy bar is super big, okay? All right, so moving forward, it's super important when we're thinking about this. We talked about the physical side. Now I want to talk about the other stuff, right? It really requires a holistic approach to this. And so it's not just about physical movements, but it's also about your lifestyle choices, stress, sleep, right? Quality sleep, mental well-being, as we discussed earlier. So stress and mental health, right? This is super important. There's an interconnectedness between the mind and the body with stress and anxiety, negative thought patterns. They can make the physical pain worse, right? Particularly with the back and particularly with people who are struggling with disc issues, right? If you have a nerve that is irritated, your nerves connect directly to your spinal column. Your spinal column is directly connected to your brain. It's part of your central nervous system. When you're tired, you're stressed, what happens? Obviously, your chronic pain or your nerve pain is increased, right? And so it's super important. And so some of the things you can start to do that are going to help you is doing things like meditation, okay? Calming breath work to bring you down and relax you. Journaling as well. Okay. All these things you can do to lower stress. And these things should not be done when you're in pain, right? They should be done consistently as a tactic to lower your overall pain and increase your overall well-being. And by doing that, you're going to be picking the scab less and less. Okay. Sleep, right? Poor sleep. I mean, this is a no-brainer. It's going to hinder the body's natural healing process. That's when you heal, right? If you're not sleeping well, you're going to have more inflammation. You're going to have more back pain. All right. So try to sleep. And when it comes to sleep, try to track your sleep. Try to prioritize your sleep. It's so, so important. Okay. Nutrition, super important. Remember what the doctor said, right? Nutritious diet is so, so important, right? If we're eating processed foods, sugar, unhealthy fats, all that stuff, it causes weight, it causes inflammation, puts you in a bad mood, it exacerbates pain. And that also means alcohol. Okay. One of the biggest mistakes I see people all the time is, oh, I'm eating right, I'm doing all these things. And then they're drinking like a bottle of wine, or they're splitting a bottle of wine every night, or having beers all night. Okay. You're undoing all the work. It's not to say that eating healthy isn't good, but that little bit is just like the worst thing you could possibly do. Okay. So there is no actual bit of alcohol that's good for you. A lot of the research that's come out now has debunked any of the healthy wine or anything like that. So I'm not saying don't drink, but just know exactly what's going to happen if you do. Okay. So these are super, super important. All right. So this is just one of the many things you can do, like this list of things to start fighting back and reclaim your life. So if you're interested in taking another step down this path, what I want you to do right now is I want you to DM me. I want you to text me. I want you to email me. So DM me on Instagram, email me if I've been emailing you, send me an SMS, send me a WhatsApp. And in there, I just want you to write the word life, L-I-F-E. That's it. Just simply put life. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you my Lifestyle Audit Protocol so you can start to implement these tools into your healing toolbox. Okay. So there's going to be all sorts of tips and tricks around everything that I mentioned above. Okay. Sitting, sleeping, eating, breath work, meditation, everything, how to plan your day to day. Okay. So I'll wait. I'll give you a chance. Just write life in there, and I'll give you a second to do that. Okay. Now, if you just write life, it helps me because then I have an automated thing that's going to send you it. But of course, if you write more than that, I will still send it to you. Okay. Okay. All right. So let's continue on. Just to recap. So mind-body connection, super important. It's not just about the physical issues, right? Psychological factors are so important. Stress, anxiety, everything like that is going to factor into this. Pain is a signal. It's not an enemy. I'm going to say that again. Pain is a signal. It's not an enemy. So really, I want you to start viewing your pain as your body's way of communicating a need for attention and care. It's saying, help, man. Like, you've probably been ignoring it for far too long. And it's only once it started screaming at you that you're like, oh, I'll listen to you now, right? And, ignoring or pushing through can really be detrimental in your healing. That's what we talked about, picking the scab, okay? That metaphor is so important. We really want to engage in activities and movements that don't aggravate the pain, right? We want to encourage healing, right? You ignored your body long enough. Now it's time to listen to it, okay? We're getting close to the end here, okay? People who are writing life in the chat, I want you to write. I want you to write life in send me an Instagram message, send me a WhatsApp message, send me an SMS, or send me a text message. Okay, don't write it in here because I can't send it to you. Okay, so Joseph, Elizabeth, Cherry, CB, send life to me whatever way I considered, whatever way I send it to you. Okay. Okay, so I want to answer some questions before we wrap here. David, send life. Don't send life in the chat. Send it over SMS. So, however I've been communicating with you, so probably to your phone, send the word life there. Okay, send the message there so that I can actually send you the protocol. I can't send it to you here because I don't know you in this. Okay, so send it to me over SMS, WhatsApp, whatever way that I've contacted you. Okay, so I'm going to spend the next little while answering a few questions before we wrap up. Okay, you said here the vanish mode cut your DM. Tremec 86, you can just resend that question. Is kombucha considered alcohol? So there is alcohol in kombucha. You're not getting drunk off it. It's not that high in alcohol. Okay, so when you're drinking something like kombucha, it's definitely not going to cause the same type of inflammation. So yeah, I'm thinking about alcohol, like true alcohol, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 40%, stuff like that. No pain. Is it good to sleep on a hard surface? So Elizabeth, when it comes to like questions like this is always going to be, because back pain, again, it's so nuanced, it's different for everyone. So what you're going to try to do is sleep on a hard surface, and then you're going to find out. I had to sleep on the ground. If I slept on a hard surface, I couldn't actually fall asleep. Now, it didn't mean that like I had pain-free sleeps, but I knew it was better than a super soft bed. Okay, so for you, it's going to be about finding what works. All right, so maybe it's a super hard surface, and maybe it's a little bit of a softer surface. Okay, it's really going to vary. Yeah, so the sneezing thing, one thing you could do about sneezing is you could practice, if you know you're about to sneeze and you have a bit of anticipation, you can practice the bracing. So you can squeeze the side here, okay, squeeze the side and try to get good at bracing. That's going to make it so there's less of this thing here. Another thing is when you sneeze, if you're in flexion intolerant, you're going like this. So you're going into flexion. Okay, so if you can hold yourself back and brace, you're not going to do this hard jerk, and it might take a little bit of that, the intensity out of the sneeze. Because I remember when that was the case. Okay, so give that a try. Shooting glute pain. Okay. Any other questions that anyone has? Just drop them in the chat real quick. I'll answer a few more, and then we're going to transition. Pierre, you're going to want to put life. You're going to want to send me an SMS or a text message, okay? Yeah, I was sleeping on the floor. I was staying at like 5-star hotels for my other job, and I was sleeping on the floor. I would just make a bed in the corner, okay? The tests that we did, are they also exercises? No, so those are just tests. So what's going to happen is tomorrow, I really want you to jump in for tomorrow, okay? Really, again, I want you to focus. Back pain is not an enemy, it's a messenger. I want you to listen to your body and understand your pain trigger. One thing you can do that you're going to see in the lifestyle protocol, if you apply life, is you're going to see a pain journal. And so we'll send you that and you can start to track your pain, okay? Now, the next day of the challenge. So as far as movements, we're going to talk about movement. So now that you have a foundational, understanding of the nature of back pain, day 2 is going to focus on safe and effective movement progression. All right. So I'm going to teach you how to incorporate movement into your daily routines and safely gradually avoid common pitfalls that can worsen pain. And so we're going to share some actual movements that you can do to start building your body up. Okay. And also I'm going to share with you my microdose protocol, and we're going to talk about how that exactly works in your day-to-day life. Okay. Few questions that came in here. So Pokemaster, yeah, we're going to talk about in the next tomorrow. We're going to talk about some actual movement progressions. Okay. Alternating laterals can cause extension. I won't be able to avoid this. I noticed that my hip leaned forward, perhaps unstable. Yeah, and so I know how it is when you're standing on a ladder. Because the ladder's like this, you kind of have to like lean into it, okay? And so what you're going to want to do is when you're on the ladder like this, try to lean into it and do what we were doing on the wall. We're finding our neutral spine. So hold it kind of like you're going to want to try to we're going to talk about this tomorrow, but here's your rib cage, right? You're going to want to try to tuck your rib cage. That's going to create a brace, and it's also going to take you out of extension, okay? We'll talk about that tomorrow. What would be the best food to eat while doing this exercise? Sorry, Elizabeth, I don't really understand that question as far as food to eat. Does nerve pain heal itself over time? It can, okay? So with nerve pain, if it gets super bad, you can get slight nerve damage. And so I'll be honest with you, because my leg was so bad, I have a slight nerve damage. I don't really feel it much, but if I don't sleep or if I don't take care of my body, I just feel like this like little bit of like it's hard to explain. It's like it's there, you know. It doesn't affect my performance. It doesn't affect anything like that, but it does definitely affect. And so if you have really bad nerve issues for a long time or very intense, what it can do is it kind of makes the nerve less effective, right? So there's a test that they'll do where they'll test the nerve sensitivity and they'll see how strong it is. So you'll say you can lose some of your nerve ability, but the pain should go away over time. Okay. Okay, that's it. I appreciate everyone for taking part in day one. Come back for day two. We're going to talk about the microdose protocol, and we're going to talk about some really cool movements that we can do to progress and get you moving in the right direction. Remember, if you want that lifestyle audit, reply or send me a message just with the word life, and I will send that to you. Okay. Good night, everyone, and hope the best. And I hope to see you tomorrow. Okay. Bye, everyone.